Iron Lung. Markiplier's movie. A movie that I absolutely had to see, despite the fact that I have not played the Iron Lung game that it's based off of. And I want to point out, by the way, before we properly get into this entire video is unscripted. I literally just got back in from seeing the movie. So this is my thoughts, completely fresh out the box. I'm going to make the effort to not spoil as much as possible because it's literally the day the movie came out, and there will be plenty of people who haven't seen it yet, and I honestly can't blame you. The movie reportedly sold out all of its tickets within hours of being able to be sold, and it got so big that it ended up making it everywhere where it wasn't originally supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to make it outside of the US, and then it did, and it came over to the UK, which was just amazing news for me and my mates because we were desperate to see it, and we actually got the chance to go and see it. Funnily enough though, there was a little bit of disappointment. The Omniplex that we went to had the booking for last Friday, and it said that on the website, but then when the ticket actually came emailed through, it was for today, because today is when the movie drops in the UK. So there's that. I don't know if the movie came out earlier than today, but I didn't see anything about it coming out earlier than the today, so I'm guessing the 30th is just its release day. Either way, there was like 20 other people who we saw do the exact same thing we did. Go into the cinema, speak to the ticket person, and then turn right back around because the site said the other date, the 23rd. But after an additional week's wait, we finally got in and we finally got to see the movie. And I will admit, I was a little bit sceptical because as much as I've not really watched many of Mark's proper production things, and I probably should have, YouTubers and movies never really work well. I mean, if you know anything about our favourite resident trading card game killer who's recently got a taste for the one that I like to play, Logan Paul, you know that YouTubers and movies is just generally a horrible idea. And if you watched anything like Free Guy that hinged entirely on having YouTuber and Twitch streamer cameos, you know that it can be a little bit cringe. So not always the highest of hopes, but at the same time, Markiplier was a big part of my childhood and all of my friends' childhoods, so we just had to go and see it. We have to support our boy, and that's what we did. We went in there, no questions asked, excited as hell, and every single expectation was blown out of the water, ironically enough. If you don't know the plot of Iron Lung, I am not great at explaining it because I haven't played the game, and that's pretty much it. So if you want the very run-down plot, it is effectively a guy, Simon, is in a metal submarine that is designed to go really deep down into very red water. And the very red water is very dangerous, water pressure, not great. His whole job is to go down there and to investigate, to get information of what's down there for the people above. You later find out that the reason he's in there in the first place is that he is a prisoner who did something horrible, and that this is effectively his punishment. The deal being that he gets to go down once, come back up, and then be freed. However, complications arise which lead to the entire plot point of the movie, which, for spoilers' sake, I will not be talking about much in the video. I'm just here to give my thoughts on the movie. I'm not an objective critic, and honestly, my thoughts don't really hold as much weight as someone who's been, you know, a critic of things for a while. I'm just a horror movie buff who went to see a movie, so take my opinions with a grain of salt. That said, Markiplier not only acted in the movie as the main character, he also wrote, directed, edited, and financed the entire thing. Obviously, there was many people involved in the production of the movie, but he was the lead in every single department, which, honestly, amazing, and it shows. It really shows how much work was put into that over the years that it's been in development, because oh my fucking god, was that good. I can confidently say that that was one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, and I've seen some good ones. That one was up there for me. The entire idea of it is more of a psychological horror, where it hinges more on you feeling trapped in the Iron Lung with him, rather than jump scaring you or getting your nerves up a little bit or showing you something that's just actively disturbing to disturb you. The majority of the movie is silent. It relies on diegetic sound, and it has Markiplier, who plays Simon, the main character, as often the only point of real dialogue in the movie, with a lot, and I mean a lot, of instances where there is not a single word spoken. There is other characters, but they're only ever really seen once in the movie, and then the rest of the voices that you hear come through a little speaker inside the lung that is radio transmissions from the people that are expecting information. Simon doesn't really know what he's going down for, but it ends up with him leading to find some very disturbing things, and realises that he is not going to get out of that iron lung. It is welded shut and he is going to die in there. So he then proceeds to try and do what he can to get information for the people, under the idea that he will be released. But of course, that's not what they have in mind. Does he get released? Does he die in the iron lung? Does something else happen that you're not going to expect? Go watch the movie and find out. I'm not going to tell you here. But I will tell you one thing. The suspense and the intensity that comes from that feeling of isolation that they bank on is just amazing. There are many instances where Simon gets to a close point of risk, where it feels like you're trapped in there with him, where the breathing that you're doing is hinging and it's deeper, and it's as if you are physically in there experiencing it with Simon, which honestly, outstanding. If you get to a point in a psychological horror where you're able to make me feel like I'm in there with you, that's it, right? Top tier, peak shit, amazing, 10 out of 10, and it absolutely did. It hinges on the same horror elements as Iron Lung, as a man that's never played it, where you don't really know what's out there and you can't really see what's going on. So it's effectively preying on the isolation that you constantly feel while trying to avoid what you know for a fact is out there, because you know there's something, you just don't know what. And it's a case of, do you even really want to see it? Because on one hand, you could argue that you're trapped in there with the security of not knowing what's out there, but at the same time, not knowing what's out there can be more dangerous than knowing. So ultimately, it's a give and take, and it really emphasises that amazingly. With the images that are shown when Simon is trying to see his surroundings and figure out what's about him, being in many cases just empty, and in other cases it does have disturbing creatures, to the focus on the silence and the feeling of being trapped. The movie is just honestly such a great way of portraying the intensity and the fear that someone in that situation would feel. It's honestly such a great rendition of isolation, of the feeling of being trapped and the desire to get out of that situation, knowing you're facing certain death in an unfair battle. Because that's what this is. It's an unfair situation in which death is certain. However, Simon still pushes ahead and tries to find his way out of the situation and to just live, which is ultimately all he wants to do. He does find out a lot of things about the Iron Lung as he uncovers a little bit more and more here and there that allows him to see more, do more, and locate things that he is able to kind of use to his advantage. But of course, it's not a horror movie if things just go well and then the character wins. So there's a lot of trial, error, and suspense. I'm going to be honest, if that movie releases on DVD, I'm definitely going to buy it, and I recommend that every single person watching this go sees it as soon as possible, because we all loved it, and I don't really know what else to say, you know, I've not had the time to script it. I just wanted to get my raw reaction down here, you know, authentic words and all that. Also, this is a little bit of a test of the new format that we've got going on. I'm thinking about doing this kind of commentary style for other videos as well. It's kind of like a PNG tuber thing, except there isn't one and it's just me. So if you like that, then let me know in the comments, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more content. We will be doing the PonyCon vlog kind of in a little bit. I've been having some troubles with the funny act of breathing, so I've been a little bit slower in production, but we're going to get more stuff out there. I do have some plans for some other content as well. There's something I'm currently in the works of making, and I am actively ready to make new stuff. We do have, I think, a trading card game kind of thing that we're going to lean into. I might do model kits as a kind of live stream thing. I'm not too sure, but either way, there is more content coming to this channel and more work going to be put in over 2026. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. Done.